We've been talking about how to make characters memorable and how to create such characters. In this context, I'm going to introduce an idea to you called the core of a character. And I'm going to illustrate this with the example of Geet from Jab We Met. Now, of course, it's possible some of y'all may not have seen Jab We Met, and that's fine. Those of us who would have seen the film, if asked to describe the character of this woman, we would probably say she's so talkative, she's so vivacious, so charming, so fearless, adventurous, happy-go-lucky, does anything, is not scared of anything. Now, none of these really define the character. They're just adjectives. But if we want to get to a character core, just like we defined Gabbar and said his identity comes from being someone who has to be feared, the way to do that would be to ask ourselves, what makes Geet so fearless? What makes her so trusting? What makes her so adventurous? I mean, she does things that millions of other people in a similar situation would never do because they'd be scared of the consequences. So why isn't she scared? One could say, oh, maybe it's because she's so tough and she thinks she can handle anything and that's why, she's fearless. But that's not really the case, which we realize right from the first instance. When she makes it to the train on time, the first thing she says is, thanks to God, I made it here on time. And this becomes a recurrent thing. She's always attributing things to God, talking about how she's protected, talking about how God has her back. And if we analyze, that is the real core of Geet. Geet's sense of identity comes from thinking of herself as God's charmed child. Someone who God's got her back, God loves her the most, and nothing bad can happen to her because of that. Now, here's the interesting thing. Because she thinks she's protected, because God will always take care of her, she can jump into a lake, she can wander off with a stranger, she can get off a train in the middle of the night and wander the platform because she knows God will make sure she's fine. Now let's take this a little further. In the film, at one point, this faith breaks. She goes to meet her boyfriend, the one she thinks is her chosen one, soulmate and all, and he dumps her. When this happened, she's broken, she's destroyed. But lots of people go through breakups, lots of people are miserable after that. In Geet's case, it's far worse. She becomes a pale shadow of herself. And that's because she's not just lost her boyfriend, she's lost her identity. Because she had built her whole sense of worth on thinking God will never let anything bad happen to me. And now if something bad has happened, that means that was not true, and suddenly she's identityless. How Geet finally gets her sense of identity back is the journey towards the end of the film. So that's the part. When we have a character core, which is when we understand how a person defines their sense of worth or what gives them a sense of identity. Like in Gabbar's case, it not just tells us what kind of lines he'll use, what kind of clothes he'll wear, where he'll live, but also gives you a sense of the person's journey. It helps us move the story in the right direction. And that's the power of the character core. In the next session, we'll talk about how to create a character core. Till then, keep watching.